Cricket's Comedy Club. Keep it going for the whole crew here at Cricket's Comedy Club, man. It's your only comedy club here in Thunder Bay. I have headlined this club more than anybody else. This is actually my cum holding all these bricks together. This is 110% pure unfiltered Dean Young, just spackled all over this back wall. In the bottom of what used to be a creepy basement that Polish weddings happened at. And for sure lots of hookers have died in. I don't know why I just want to, the only thing I require as a comedian is a stool to put my beer on. And for some reason, there's a fucking ventriloquist dummy of Chris Molowishin on the stool right now. Or Angus Young from AC/DC, I have no fucking idea. But either way, fuck that, I have a beer. I don't give a shit. This is my cum wall. This is my DVD. I don't give a fuck about whatever that is. No, you guys, I'm very excited. Thank you all for coming out to this DVD recording this weekend. It's so exciting for me, especially because I know that after this first show is done, I could get blackout drunk for the other 3 shows. And hope that the first take is the good one. That's all I care about. That's all I care about. For those of you who don't know me and who aren't, this room is basically divided into 3 groups of people. It's people who don't know me, people who are related to me, and people who are related to me and wouldn't fuck me in high school. And they will after tonight. Because I'm fucking funny. If you're my cousin and you turned me down in high school, we're doing it. Tonight, you could be this wall. This could be you. Cousin Aria, whatever the Finlanders' names are, I have no idea. You guys, for those of you who don't know me though, I'm going to start things off nice and slow and honest. I'm going to get real and raw and intimate with you, especially you guys, because you're just looking at me like right in the eyes for no good reason. We're at a comedy show. Tell us something. I'll tell you guys a little bit of background about myself. This is real. This is raw, honest stuff. This is my origins in life, you guys. This is how I started out. So one night, back in 1986, my mom and dad put a little Bob Seger under the old record needle. Oh yeah. And they rolled that old hi-fi all the way up to 10. That's right, they did. They cracked into a nice cold half sack of Molson Golden. It's the kind of beer they don't even fucking brew anymore, you guys. Can't get that at the bar here tonight at Cricket's, that's for sure, I'm sorry. My parents cracked into a nice cold half sack of Molson Golden. They rolled up a nice tight little hash joint. A pinner, if you will. This guy right here knows exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. And my mom and dad made buzzed, unprotected sex on top of a pile of freshly laundered Club Varney t-shirts on the linoleum floor of their bachelor apartment right here in Thunder Bay, Ontario. That's right, you guys. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was the night my little brother was conceived, you guys. And I saw the whole fucking thing go down. The whole entire thing. It's terrifying, and I wish I wrote that as a joke, but it's true. To this day, I can't hear the opening chords of Bob Seger's Night Moves. without shitting in my pants, just a little bit. Just a little bit comes out every single time. They ruined that good song for me, for sure. I love doing comedy there, you guys. It's my job. I love doing comedy in Canada because I get to go to parts of Canada as part of my job. I get to go to parts of Canada that I would fucking never step foot in on purpose. Nor will I ever return to if I can help it at all. A little while ago, I was in a town called Lively, Ontario. Yeah. Don't clap for them. They don't. They're already dead. That's the ironic thing. Don't clap for that. Lively, Ontario. The most inappropriately named fucking town I've ever seen in my entire goddamn life. I went into the Tim Hortons in Lively, Ontario, because I am an aggressively Canadian comic, right? I don't get on stage unless I get my fucking Timbits, man. That's how I do it. Give me my Timbits, and then I'll tell some jokes. That's how I do it. But I went into the Tim Hortons in Lively, Ontario, and literally everyone in that Tim Hortons was fucking pregnant. Everyone. The customers, everyone behind the counter, dudes and shit, kids were pregnant, made no sense whatsoever. It's like a Stephen King book that never made it to television, just the town that got pregnant. That was Lively, Ontario. Whole fucking town was pregnant. Here's what I've learned being a comic in Canada. I live in Toronto now. You guys can save the booze for later because I'm going to talk about Toronto later on. But everybody always says that everyone in Canada hates Toronto that doesn't live there. That might be true. I'll get into that later on. But here's what I have learned recently as a Canadian comic. You could go literally anywhere in this country and shit talk the city of Winnipeg, and people are on board with that shit. Doesn't matter where you go, man. You go to a town of like 200 people in rural Saskatchewan that's not even actually a town. It's just a collection of people that accidentally happened around one grain silo. That's all it is. And they don't even know why they're there. They just know that they want one Denny's location to come. And they want one Grand Slam once, and then death to come and take them away. That's all they want. And you go to those towns, and for no reason at all, the first thing out of my mouth could just be like, fuck Winnipeg, man! And they don't even really necessarily even know what Winnipeg is, but they agree. They're just like, you know what? Yeah. It's my new favorite thing about Canada, for sure. I went on this tour across Canada, except for Manitoba, because fuck Manitoba. Guys, I didn't have time for Manitoba. Maybe later on, who knows. I went on this tour, and I had to spend a month and a half in the back of a rented Nissan Sentra with two other comedians who were just chain-smoking blunts the entire time. And I don't know, we'll take a poll of the room. How many people here like to smoke weed? Make some noise, man. Again, this guy with the fucking Jimmy Buffett, Margaritaville baseball cap for a child is just like, yeah, I like to smoke. We know, sir. Where? Everyone in this room. Everyone likes to smoke weed, right? It's gonna be legal soon. Unless our delicious Prime Minister with those locks you want to cut your fingers in, maybe it's just me, was lying, right? It's just like, he might have been lying about the weed, but oh my God, he smells like Pert Plus, and I just want to lose my knuckles in his scalp. But I had to spend a month and a half in the back of a rental car where they were just chain smoking, rolled up cigar, blunts the entire time. And listen, I'm not complaining. Like all of you, I love weed. In fact, I don't know if you guys could tell by looking at me right now, but I'm pretty fucking okay with drugs in general. I'm a 33-year-old man with a fucking Jimmy Neutron haircut. and an alpaca unicorn hoodie, and I'm covered in mistake tattoos. Not even the ones you can see right now. Those are just the appetizer. Just from the neck down, it's just regret all the way down to my toes. Just bullshit fucking tattoos that I choose tattoos the way you guys pick a loaf of bread at the store. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I gave up a long time ago. I don't give a fuck. I'm like, this is all worm food. Who gives a shit? So I don't get to be in a Jewish cemetery, and this is Thunder Bay, so you guys are like, what is one of those? And I'm like, exactly. Who gives a shit? But I love drugs. I'll explain. I have family here. I should explain. I shouldn't just imagine if I was just like, I love drugs, and I just leave. And my father was like, yeah, we've been wondering. We've been wondering for a while. My mom worked at CIBC before. She checks my bank account once in a while, but that's not the reason why, Mom. I'll find out later on. But I found out a hard thing about myself on that particular tour. I found out that I can't smoke weed and then get up on stage and do my job. I can't do it. This lady's like, yeah, me neither. That's why I'm not a comic, because I love drugs. But I can't do it. If I get too stoned, like I can't like remember my jokes and do my job, right? If I get too high, I have to like, I get into a weird space in my own head where I think weird shit. And I want to do weird shit. I don't want to scare you guys because we're already in a basement. A dimly lit basement in front of a cum wall. So I don't want to scare you guys off. Like nothing, like I don't like throw back half a joint and be like, well, time to go home and fuck my cats now. Like, nothing that dark. Nothing that dark ever happens, you guys. I don't want to alarm you. But I found out a little while ago, if I get too high, like I need to be home in my safe, warm, comfortable place, right? If I get too high, like I'll give you guys a good example right now. The last time I got too high, I went home and I ate 2 entire cans of creamed corn that I did not heat up first. Did not. I did not. I just cracked those shits open, man. Went to town on them with a spoon in a dark, sad corner of my apartment. Might have been a little Tom Waits music playing behind me, just plowing back ice cold cream corn at 4 in the morning. Just plowing back cold corn like a man whose wife just died in child labor. That's all I was doing, just cold corn! Then I Wikipedia'd the sinking of the Titanic for 3.5 solid hours. For no good reason at all. That's what I like to do, my friends. If I get too fucked up, I just Google famous shipwrecks, baby! So I like to party. Then I go up to people and I tell them useless facts and information that they never wanted or needed to hear. I'll just go up to them after I get high and I'll just be like, Captain John Smith was an immaculate stickball player as an 11-year-old youth growing up in Leeds. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Switch to harder drugs, man. And I'm like, I do sometimes, look at me. A bit of Banff. I've tried stuff. It's the part of the show where I try to be cool. I'm just like, yo, I've tried stuff. Check out the hoodie. But I grew up here. I grew up in Northern Ontario, right? I grew up in a town that loves cocaine. This town loves cocaine. I like how everyone here got silent. You're like, no, we don't. No, we don't. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. But I'll explain it to you right now. Because I lived in this town for the first 20 years of my life. And I used to get angry at people and shit. I would see them doing cocaine all the time. But they always made it sound so fun and inviting and exciting because they never once actually referred to it as cocaine. They always just called it nose beers. Does it sound like a great time? Who doesn't want to crack open a couple of nose beers with your buds on a Saturday night, eh, bud? Oh, what happened to you last night? Oh, bud, I got a wicked pounder going on there. I just swallowed back a couple too many nose beers there last night, you know? I know what's up. I tried a new drug a little while ago in Toronto. Tried a drug called dabs. Yeah, again, the guy with the fucking... I know what those are, man. I was there in '92 when Alan Jackson did his fucking Florida Keys concert, man. I know. I was there. I tried to dab. And for those of you who don't know, dabs are basically the crystal meth version of weed. They're terrifying. And I have a low tolerance to weed to begin with. The worst thing I ever did when I got too high off of weed was I ate 2 lunar moths. So I was like, they're eating the air. There's gonna be no more air left. So obviously the only solution to that is someone's got to eat those moths. And that's my job tonight. But I try to dab, which is a terrifying thing. It's the crystal meth version of weed. What happens is usually a man comes up to you and says, "Do you want to smoke some shatter with me?" And if you're me, your answer to that should immediately be no. No, sir. I do not. But I tried, I smoked the shatter with this gentleman I didn't know. Because, hey, roll the dice, right? Smoked the shatter with this stranger. Then I went home right away, because I could feel fear taking over my entire heart and body. I could feel the fear soaking in pretty heavily by that point. And I got off at the subway station in Toronto, which, for those of you who have never been to a subway station in Toronto, it's a very uncomfortable place, regardless of your level of sobriety, but particularly if you've just done shatter for the first time. And I was in no way, shape, or form prepared to deal with what I was about to see. And it wasn't even that late at night, right? It was like a packed subway platform. There were people everywhere. And I see this man with no setup whatsoever, no precursor at all. I see this man very casually in front of all these people just bend over and start puking some fucking blood. Yeah. That's right. A really alarming amount of blood was coming out of this man's face for no reason. And I'm no science doctor. But I'm pretty certain that the correct amount of blood to just vomit out of your mouth on a whim for no good reason is 0. That's the best amount. 0. That's always the amount of blood that you want to vomit for no reason in front of hundreds of strangers. That's the best number right there every single time. And this guy was puking his blood. And the thing that really fucked me up about this was, like, if I was this dude, I'd be like running around crying and shit. I'd be like tugging on the bottom of people's jackets like I was a lost child at the mall, just like, where my mom and dad? I don't care if I'm in my mid-30s. I don't give a fuck. I would have been losing my shit, right? What really fucked me up was how calm this guy was about the whole thing. He just finishes expelling the blood from his mouth, like a gentleman does. And very calmly, very casually, he just kind of gives her one of these with the sleeve of his jacket. Just wipes his mouth. And he looks over this whole packed subway platform of people, this like ocean of heads, right? And for some reason, he's scanning the room and he chooses to make direct eye contact with me. I was not okay with that at all, because I just smoked some chatter. He looks me right in the eyes and he just goes, "People are on their smartphones too much nowadays." What the fuck? What the fuck? To this day, I have no idea how to process that. I have no... What was the message in that? What was I supposed to learn from that? This asshole just like got the wrong iPhone 6 and his body just started shutting down on him for no reason. If you get the wrong data plan, Ebola comes. I was like, what the fuck? I'm a comedian. Because of you, I can't smoke weed or take public transit ever again. That's it. I have to retire now. I have to retire. I did come up with my new favorite thing to do while high a little while ago. It was last Christmas. I came back home to visit my family for Christmas time. And I highly recommend this to all of you, by the way. I came up with my new favorite thing to do while high. It's called just get high as a goddamn kite. And when your mom's trying to make Christmas dinner, follow her around the kitchen and just spit some old school Tupac lyrics at her, man. That is my new favorite shit. That is my new favorite thing to do while high. Trust me. Nothing says holiday magic like an almost 60-year-old white lady just trying to take some goddamn cabbage rolls out of the oven in peace. And you are high as a goddamn kite, just high out of your mind, walking 2 paces behind her, just being like, "Man, I ain't got no motherfucking friends. That's why I fucked your bitch, motherfucker. Take money, take money, take money, take money," right? I thought that was the funniest shit ever. My mom did not. She's like 3 feet ahead of me with a tray of cabbage rolls, just been like, "Stop it. What is that? I don't like that music at all. What is that? That has too many F sharps in it." Because she calls them F sharps unless she's doing them herself. I'd be like, "That's old school Pac, Mom. That's why they shot him." And every time I tell an audience that story, they always get super quiet, and then I remember, oh, there are some people who are probably high in this room right now. And then the comedy show stops entirely, because they just all start talking amongst themselves in little groups, just being like, "That's right, who did that shit?" Was it Suge? Suge Knight. That was Suge did that. I always love coming back to Thunder Bay, though, you guys. This is my hometown, right? Thunder Bay, yeah. Right, guys? Yeah. Yeah. I always love it because fucked up things happen to me every time I come back to this hometown of mine. Something fucked up happens every single time. I want to tell you guys a story that I did hear before at Crickets. If you guys will permit me, the most fucked up sex thing that ever happened to me in my life. Can I tell you guys that?
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
You have to now.
I know I do, because there's a DVD taping. So I planned it either way, even if you guys were like, "No!" Like a 5-year-old that doesn't like his SpaghettiOs, I would still be like, "I have to, though, because it's on like the sleeve and shit. I already made that part, did it backwards." This is the most fucked up thing that ever happened to me coming back home to Thunder Bay. So we're going time hop right now, you guys. We're going all the way back to 2004. I don't know what you have to do to go back to 2004. Just close your eyes. Hear a little Mr. Brightside by the Killers. I have no fucking idea. Whatever needs to happen. But I came back home for the summer, right? And I was living in college in Ottawa at the time. I know, Ottawa, right? Everybody's like, that's like New York compared to the huge city. But I came back home, and I had only one goal in mind at that time, you guys, and that was I wanted to, like, get it in. I wanted to, like, put my sex into someone. I wanted to do sex to a person. Not just a brick wall in a basement that used to be a Portuguese money counting place. I want to put my jizz in a person. Anyways. And I'll be honest with you guys, it wasn't always easy for me back then, right? I wasn't, like, good at talking to ladies. I'm not saying I'm good at that now. You'll find out more as the show progresses, but I was less so back then. I wasn't always the delicious little olive-skinned twink that you're looking at right now, my friends. I was a big boy. I was a big boy, and the only reason for that is I quit my only sport, and I use the term loosely. Quit my only sport, which was karate. It's not even really a sport. Just a thing I did that I signed up for because I was sick of the other boys in my New Kids on the Block group kicking the shit out of me all the time. So I joined karate, and then I quit karate because karate happened on the same night as new episodes of my favorite American sitcom, Cheers. So I made a hard life decision at one point. I chose new episodes of Cheers. And then, by a cruel twist of fate that literally anybody could have predicted, I spent all of my teenage years and a good chunk of my early 20s looking exactly the fuck like Norm from the show Cheers. It's not normal to leave home at 18 and people in college dorms are like, so how many times have you been divorced? And I'm like, I'm not. Barely get boners yet. But anyways, never been divorced, sir. So I came home for the summer, right? And I was like, I'm gonna get laid. So a bunch of us went out to a stag and dough one night, right? Or a shag, as we call them here. And there was a big group of us. And I brought along, for my wingman, I brought along my uncle. Yeah. Which might sound fucked up, but my uncle liked to have a good time, you guys. He liked to get fucked up. He had one tooth left in his face. He did. We always told people that was his pizza tooth. Like if he grimaced at you, he looked like a cribbage board at the end of like a long, hard-fought tournament, right? Just one whittled down little victorious peg, right? He liked to have a good time, that guy, man. One time he downed an entire 40-pounder of Seagram's VO out at his ice shack, and he blacked out on top of a lit Coleman stove, and he melted a significant portion of his face off. Like the Fargo version of Harvey Dent, my friends. So naturally I was like, that's my go-to. That's my wingman right there. That's who I'm doing this. I'm gonna get laid for sure. But we go out to the Stag and Doe, right? And it's exactly what you might expect. It'd be a Friday night out on the town in Thunder Bay, Ontario, right? It's inside a Polish Legion somewhere. There's a little foreigner dancing out of the speaker, right? Everybody's tilting back the red Solo cups. And all of a sudden I see this older lady, much older than myself, just shoot me the fucking business from across the room. Right? Just eye fucking the royal blue hell out of me, right? And I'm nervous, because this lady looked experienced. She was a cougar, if you will. I don't know if that term has fallen out of favor, but don't forget we're in 2004 right now, so who gives a fuck? In fact, you guys could pepper in some mild racism if you want, because a different time. Sexism too, it's a little bit of a different time. This lady has denim everything on, right? Like fucking denim skirt, denim shirt, denim vest, little denim in her hair. Her hair's all teased to shit like she's gonna go line up for Whitesnake a decade and a half too late. And she's staring me down. And I'm sort of pacing around. I'm like 8-miling pickup lines in the back of my head. I'm just like, what do I do? 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 And all of a sudden, I feel this big, sweaty oven mitt of a hand just clamp down on my shoulder. And this voice leans in and goes, go get her, buddy. She's looking for it. Which sounds terrifying now, but it's 2004, so it's fine. Everything was cool, pre-Trump. Everything was fine. So I turned around, it was my uncle. I chose my wingman wisely, right? So I was like, yes, uncle, yeah. I am gonna have sex with this strange older lady. And you know, it was good. We started like making out and shit. Reactions were mixed. Some people were like, some people were laughing. Some people were like, ah, gross. That was actually most people, that part. Some people were genuinely concerned. Why are we letting Gemma Teller from Sons of Anarchy sexually assault Pugsley Adams right in front of our eyes? That's not okay. Why is that happening? We're like making out and shit, and all of a sudden, this red flag sort of moment happened, and I'm not good at picking those out in my life historically. They wheeled out this tray full of Jell-O shots, right? And this lady just starts like arm loading them into her purse. And I'm a responsible young man, right? I'm like, what are you doing, lady? That's not above board. And she's like scooping them into her purse, right? Because at best, those are gonna have lint on them. That's gross. You don't want to do wide open Jell-O shots out of this lady's purse. At best, they're gonna have lint on them, but it's probably gonna be like cocaine that expired, even if that's possible, and like condom wrappers and shit, right? But she's scooping these into her purse, and she leans in, and she scratches the side of my face fucking hard. Was not sexy at all. It hurt. And she makes a sound that I can only describe as like the guttural death rattle of an old dying alley cat. And she goes like, "Purr." And she goes, you need to practice your licking. Terrifying. But exciting. That is the most I've ever been simultaneously terrified and excited in my entire life. I'll never experience that kind of electricity again. I'll never skydive. I'm terrified of heights. That was it for me. That was my peak of like adrenaline right there. Lizard fuel. That's all it was, right? She does that, and then I'm like, okay. So I start like doing the shots with her and stuff. And then she goes, I live right down the street from here. You're coming home with me right now. Again, I'm very terrified. I don't know if this lady is going to make a windbreaker out of my fat, tender, young skin. Because I had a very supple and shiny coat. It could have happened. You wouldn't even need to put the lotion in the basket. It was ready for the hose again, already. Don't even skip that step. It's fine. I would have made a fine skin jacket. So I didn't know where I was going. But I agreed, right? Because I was like, this is like my Mrs. Robinson moment. This is an older lady. I'm going to learn some shit. And boy, did I ever. So we're walking down the street to her place, and it was right downtown, right? And it was early enough that there were still people walking around and stuff. Early enough that you would check that the coast is clear before you would do what this lady was about to do. She stands in the middle of the sidewalk, and she starts opening up her shirt. And I always want to be like, kind of cool about this part of the story. She'd be like, yeah, man. She busts out her titties on me, man. But I can't get away with that because I look like Justin Bieber's twin sister. But supposed to be like, she exposed her breast. And all of a sudden she grabs the left one like this and she just goes, surprise! And she super soakers me right in the face with some breast milk straight out of the source. Straight the fuck out of the source. And I would just like to say, there's a lot of ladies in the room right now. Scientifically, kudos to you. Hats off to you. That is amazing. Because I had no idea you could choose when that shit comes out. And not even just that, you could like aim it. Like arc it perfectly into the mouth of like a scared, sad 20-year-old boy who's just trying to live life. Piece of innocence was stolen from me that night, my friend. I'll never forget that taste. I've lived in Toronto for some years now, so obviously I drink fucking almond milk. And the closest I've ever come to duplicating that flavor was one time I left a carton of almond milk like 2 weeks or so, too far past the expiry. Poured myself a good old, came home from a day of kale farming or collecting vinyls, whatever the fuck we do. Poured myself a nice tall pint glass of almond milk. And the top layer was like almond milk mostly. And then underneath that was just like layers of cloudy white Mississippi death water. I still chugged it down because I'm poor. And that's the closest I've ever come to finding that flavor again. Yeah. I do live in Toronto now. And listen, I understand why everyone in Canada hates Toronto and makes fun of it and stuff like that. I get it. Because Toronto is just like one never-ending fucking Portlandia sketch that never went to the air. It really is. It really is. Like, I'm not from it's, yeah. We had a raccoon that died last summer, and we had a funeral for it. As a city, we had a raccoon-roll, for fuck's sakes. A raccoon died, and people were going up beside it and Instagramming it, writing sad shit on chalk beside it and stuff like that on the sidewalk. I understand it. I saw the most aggressively Toronto thing I've ever seen in my life, though, recently, right? I was walking down the street, and I see this, I won't lie to you guys, nice-looking young lady. I was scoping her out, but respectfully, with my eyes. Not a fucking construction worker from New York. Or here in Thunder Bay. It's Italian people. I'm going to work on you a little bit later on, don't worry. But I see this girl walking down the sidewalk, right? And I'm scoping her out. But she had like one of those round, flat, like straw hats on her head. Fuck off. Take that shit off your head. Like the round, flat boater hat. You're a 22-year-old girl. You're not ferrying people on fucking gondola rides in the mid-30s, right? She had like a fun summer print on. Just a fun summer frock. Like she just maxed out her dad's MasterCard on whatwouldZoeDeChanelwear.com. It's a real website, by the way, my friends. Give that a click if you're down in the dumps at 3 or 4 in the morning, I promise you. Brighten your night right up. This girl's just sort of skipping, frolicking down the sidewalk, right? And all of a sudden, she answers her phone. And what came out of her mouth was the most Toronto sentence I've ever heard in my life. She answers her phone and she starts laying into this dude, just chewing him the fuck out, right? She picks up her phone and she's just like, I already said, Kevin. I can't today, Kevin. How many times I told you, Kevin, I already said today, Kevin, I don't have any time today, Kevin. I'm going ukulele shopping today, Kevin. Actual sentence. I heard that shit and I was just like, oh, fuck. Toronto, for sure. I have a beautiful life in Toronto, you guys. I'm a 33-year-old single father of 2 cats. Thank you, yeah. It's a hard job. Thankless job. Live in a house with another single man who is 35 years old. And we live right across the street from both an elementary school playground and a cemetery. And we're just 2 grown-ass men raising my adopted cats together, you guys. It's a beautiful life I have in Toronto, for sure. It's a beautiful life I've cultivated for myself. Our house is the saddest place in the world, actually. Because if you come to our house, we each have our own divorce couch. If you walk into our living room, we each have like our own little like IKEA couch that we both got to keep from our respective breakups. And they're just facing each other across like a 3-foot divide. And we just come home every night and just exchange negativity. That's all we do. We just like pump airborne cancer into the air just by what we're talking about. It's like a non-stop spinning cycle of just like bourbon and hot sauce farts and muffled crying. That's all it is. But it's a bit better than about a year and a half ago. About a year and a half ago, I did an old classic that some of you guys might have done here before. And if you haven't, just pretend for moral support, for God's sake. I did the old classic, get kicked out of your house by your fiance and move back in with your dad at 32 years old. Right, guys? Yeah. Yeah. All of us did that. All of us did that. Like how the Margaritaville hat guy, that's the one time and the whole night, he's like crossing his arms and just nodding like, no. I've owned this hat since I left high school. Never, ever got dumped by anyone. If I was doing sad, publicly sad, weird, sad shit, man, go on my Facebook. It's a public page. Dean Young, give it a scroll, go back till your finger hurts, go down like a year and a half. We'll just read some wide open diary entries of like a sad teenage girl. It's like I was writing episodes of Dawson's Creek that were never gonna happen. Just, I was at the, this girl was like, that was a good show. If I want anyone to take anything away from this, I want someone to leave and be like, Dawson's Creek, that was a good show. That was a good show. If I was living at my dad's, I was being sad. I was being fucking sad. I started writing sad rap songs. I have a whole notebook full of these sad rap lyrics. I don't know if you guys could tell by looking at me right now, I don't fucking rap. I don't know, like a studio back in Toronto that I go back to and just be like, yo, let me drop some new beats. Let me spit some more fire, son. You're like I'm right now. I'm basically like a 14-year-old Lithuanian girl. That's what I'm. Don't fucking rap. I had one rap song in the late 90s when Napster was still around. It was a diss track against my cousin Luke. And my rap name was Colossal. Like colossal. Because like I'm big, I still have all my baby fat. Like I'm big. But like Colossal, because I'm from the streets, I'll kill you. I was writing all these sad rap songs at my dad's house. Because here's what I learned. If you have to move into your dad's house in the suburbs in your mid-30s, there's a wine rack right around the corner. And you will go to the wine rack literally every night, and you will go there and then go back and just pen some sad raps that go nowhere. So I was doing that. Another form that my sadness was taking at the time was I was doing these Yelp reviews. Those are still on the internet too. You guys can find those, no problem. Whole series of Yelp reviews. The best patios in Southern Ontario to publicly cry on. That was what I was doing. And there are some great 5 out of 5 venues, my friends. So if you want to go, sit in a dark corner by yourself and drink a house liter of red, just have a good old-fashioned wide open cry in front of some strangers you hope you'll never see again for the rest of your life. There's some fantastic, talk to me after the show, there's some fantastic places you could do that. So I was doing that. My dad was trying to be like loving and supportive, right? He was trying to be there for me. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird, man. Where was that for the first 30 years of my life? It's a whole other hour of comedy, though. We don't have time to get into. My dad would do this same thing every single day, though. He would send me the same exact text. He would text me and he'd be like, what do you want for supper, son? What do you want for supper? I'm like, shit, dude. I'm in my 30s. I can already figure out what to eat by myself. It's like I feel like I'm already on the barroom floor of life, and you're just coming up and giving me an extra one of these to the dick for no reason. But he was trying, right? I'd be out late at night doing a show, and I'd get a text from my dad. He'd be like, I'm down that street at the pita pit right now. What kind of mustard does my sad, sweet baby boy like? What kind of mustard for my sad, sweet baby boy? And he was trying, right, guys? He was trying. But one day, I hate to admit to you guys, because my dad's a real nice guy, he sent me one too many of these, what do you want for supper texts? And my last nerve was just like a too tightly wound piano wire that just kind of went plink. And I fucking answered my dad that day. And I hate to admit it to you. My dad sends me as usual, what do you want for supper, son? And I answered him. I answered him right away and I went, oh, do you want to know what I want for supper, Dad? I want my own house back and someone I can fuck in it when I go home. Which, he just like, he wasn't in a place emotionally where he could give that to me, you guys. So I had to compromise and send him a nice text back and just be like, can you make me some divorce tacos, Daddy? Which he did. They were delicious, by the way. Recommend that to all of you. If you ever find yourself in that situation in life, it's not weird at all. I'll shack up with my old man for a couple months. He'll fix you up some divorce tacos. Like 90% sure that it was just a folded up piece of Wonder Bread. Stuffed with hamburger helper, but it doesn't matter. He was trying. I only have 3 more hours of things, don't worry you guys. How many people here have kids? Make some noise. Right? Yeah. Yeah. These 2 girls in the front are like, nah, yeah, but you can help us with. That's what you want? Comedian seed, for sure. Just scoop some off the wall. Chisel it off here. I'm no good as a person. Just take some of this. Microwave it. It's fine. I don't have any kids. I just had my brother just had his second kid, so I'm a nephew. I'm a nephew, Jesus Christ. I guess I am someone's nephew, I guess. I don't know how time works. But I'm an uncle again, you guys. That's exciting, right? Yeah, yeah. My brother's dick works. My My brother's dick works. Could you imagine? That should have been the name of the whole album, just My Brother's Dick Works. Dean Young, My Brother's Dick Works, Dean Young. Picture of my brother's dick, I don't know. Or just the kids, I don't know. Picture of the kids. This is just an afterthought. This is the second album, I don't know. But I am excited about that. I love being an uncle, but I'm also excited because I won't have to hear this anymore from my mom, specifically. She would always ask me, she would be like, so, when's it gonna happen? And I'd be like, what, the wedding, Mom? Don't worry, we'll pick a date and you'll be there. Papao. Turns out we would not. Otherwise, this album wouldn't have happened. But I would always tell my mom why I didn't want kids, and I would do this as delicately as possible, though, right? But I would always tell her, I'm like, you know, now it's 2017. Why are we still doing things the old-fashioned way? Why are we still wrecking a good thing? Right? Right, ladies? 2017. People should be hatching out of pods and shit like the first Matrix movie by now. Why are we still doing this? And I would be as delicate as I could when I would say this to my mom, but I'd be like, think about that lady from the TLC show who cranked out 19 kids in 20 years. 19 kids in 20 years. Remember that? Think back before all the molesty things happened. And they had to cancel that shit, but still. 19 kids in 20 years. Mathematically and scientifically, I have no idea how that's possible. That lady basically turned herself into a Play-Doh fun factory of creating human life. That's what she did. I want you guys all to understand my logic. Close your eyes as a room and picture with me. I want you guys to picture that lady's vagina with me as a group. Right? 19 kids in 20 years. That lady's vagina is basically a head of cabbage that somebody took a 12 gauge to. That's that lady's vagina, man. Or like, you know when Italian people love to grow their own tomatoes, right? They love that shit. We all know they do. Right? They always have that one big prize tomato. They'll take you around their backyard and stuff. They'll be like, this one, the best. The best. Number one tomato, this is the best tomato, And then one day, when that Italian family isn't home, that tomato gets too big for its own good. And it just sort of collapses under its own weight. And it falls down onto the patio and just sort of splats open like a dead man's fist. That's that lady's puss, you guys! That's that lady's puss! So I would always tell that to my mom. That's why I don't want 2 kids, Mom. But here's what happened. I ended up with 2 cats. And I love them, you guys. Whenever I'm talking about them on stage, I just want to LL Cool J that shit and just be like, it's my heart. It's my heart. Right? Do the wink and the one pant leg up and all that. Because I love those cats. And we got them at like, me and an ex got them at like 5 weeks old, which I think is the youngest you're legally allowed to get a cat. But they were alley cats. So we stole them from their mom, because who gives a fuck? They were adorbs, right? I wanted this many cats. I wanted 0 cats, and I got talked into 1, and I ended up with 2, and then I got custody of the 2. That's what happens in life. But they were so adorable when we got them, man. Oh, man. They couldn't even curl their tails yet. Like, they just did that, like, little manta ray tail bullshit. Like that, right? So good. We had to like feed them fake milk out of the top of like Land O'Lakes butter lid containers to like replace them from their mom that we stole them from. So they couldn't drink their own milk yet. They were so cute, right? But I didn't grow up with cats. I grew up with dogs. I had no idea. Cats came with all these problems that I had no idea about. I'd be out at a show late at night, and my ex at the time would be texting me, and she'd be like, The girl cat keeps on trying to nurse milk off of the boy cat. And I didn't really understand that, right? So I'd be like, come again? She'd text me back and be like, the girl cat. And I don't know why she's whispering in a text, but just go with it for the sake of the bit. Let's take a walk. She's like, the girl cat keeps on trying to suck milk out of the boy cat's little cat penis. I read that shit and I thought that was the funniest goddamn thing ever, right? The funniest shit ever to me. I text her back, I was just like, LOL! Exclamation points to the sky! She did not find that funny at all. She got very upset. I don't think that's how I ended up alone. But in retrospect, it for sure didn't help matters, that's for sure. She got super upset. She was like, it's very serious. It's very serious. I went to the vet, and the vet said that if she doesn't stop trying to suck milk out of the boy cat's little cat penis, his little cat penis will get swollen shut until his pee builds up, and then he gets an infection, and then he dies. Holy fuck. That is fucking ice blue terrifying. Because I read that shit and I was like, what would I have to worry about if I ever have actual human children, right? I have no idea. I'm already in over my head. There was like an entire year of my life where I had to go home every single night and yell at what is basically my daughter, right? And I would have to walk in the house and be like, stop sucking your brother's penis! You're killing your brother! You're hurting him, you're killing him slowly. He doesn't like it. Don't do that anymore, stop it. Which, that's aggressive or whatever, but it worked. I would like to say, if you're that cat though, I want you guys to think about this for a second. If you're that cat, man, that's not a bad way to go out. You're a cat. You don't give a fuck that that's your sister. You have no idea. Just suck me to the grave, bro. I've had some lonely times in my life where I wish I had a cat sister that would fucking blowjob me to death. I wish. Right now. It'd be amazing. Suck. Like, as soon as I said suck, I looked and my mom was in the crowd and I was just like, I've never had one of those, mommy, don't worry. Only brick walls until I get a Christian wife. I'll only put on brick walls. No, I'll leave you guys with this. Here's how I ended up with the cats, though. Because I didn't want them. And originally, my ex at the time was like, can we get a poodle? Let's get like one poodle. We'll get like two poodles. We'll get, okay, 3 poodles. We'll get 4, we'll live in a house full of poodles. We'll be silly with poodles. Let's be silly with poodles. Here's the thing. I hate small dogs. The only reason why is because they cause too much heartache. When I was a little boy, and this is tough for me to talk about, you guys. When I was a little boy, I had a girl chihuahua named Super Mario. Because you don't let the 6-year-old boy name the dog, ever. I had a girl chihuahua named Super Mario. And one day, little Super Mario wandered out into traffic in front of my grandma's house. And little Super Mario just got iced the fuck out by a shit-brown Pontiac Bonneville. Let me tell you something, my friends. There were no 1-up coins that afternoon. There were no mushrooms. There was just points all over the goddamn road. points everywhere. And ever since that day, I was like, no more small dogs. It's too much. No more small dogs. Or my ex was like, poodles. We'll get some poodles. And I told her straight up. I was like, you know what's going to happen? If we get a fucking poodle, I'm going to poison it with chocolate. Not even fast either, you guys. I'm going to take this food, right? And like hide a couple of those little like Cadbury mini Easter eggs in there. And just slowly, incrementally, just add like 2 more, 3 more, 4 more, right? I want that shit to last for as long as possible. And then on the last day, when that poodle's on his way out, and his little poodle insides are racked with chocolate poodle death pain, I'm gonna lean down and I'm gonna pet his little poodle ears and look him right in the eye, right underneath his stupid fucking haircut. Like, you guys know how poodles always are made to look like they're like a collection of hobo pubes or something? Like they're a giant Q-tip made out of hobo pubes. I don't understand. They've just got like the circa 2004 Seth Rogen Jufro going on for no reason. I'm gonna look it right in its stupid fucking eyes when it's on its way out, and I'll just say, this isn't even your fault. The only reason this is happening to you right now is because you are the way you are. And if you guys thought I wouldn't end a 1-hour special on poisoning dogs, you're fucking wrong. I did. I just did that right now. Chris the Comedy Club, thank you guys so much, man. You guys have been amazing. Chris Mission, thank you, everybody. Good night.